Okay. Now we're recording. Sorry, didn't know what I was doing. So welcome to my walk. The number one thing I prioritize in my life is walking. Walking is what our ancestors did. It is a way to stimulate your long bones to produce stem cells. We have not evolved to a sedentary lifestyle. So many of the illnesses and diseases that we have are a result of not using our body the way it was created. So 4 years ago, this was not possible for me. Walking, talking, keeping my heart rate down low. But thankfully, I'm at the point right now that I can manage moving and talking. I always try to prioritize walking over housekeeping, mainly because if I do housekeeping, I'm never going to stimulate my body in the same way that I would in walking. Walking is just so much more natural. And so if I can walk without triggering inflammation, then that helps me build up my endurance for me to be able to helps me build up the endurance for me to be able to, I'm in zone 2. Zone 2 starts right about now. So it takes usually 15 minutes to get into zone 2. You usually come in and out, and then once you get in there, it's like you feel like this teeny tiny little burn. It's like you're almost about to sweat, but you're not gonna sweat. So I can't really control also when I'm walking outside, staying in zone 2 as well as I can when I'm on a bike. On a bike, I can increase the I don't know what you call it, the grade, so I can make it a higher climb, or I can increase the resistance, and there's so many things I can do on a bike versus a walk. But I love being outside, so that's what I do is I go outside. And it's not how fast I go, it's the fact that I can go without triggering inflammation. So my heart rate is 99 right now. I will hang out right here. But if you
21:26.
If you were to see what it was like earlier last week, I couldn't even walk without my heart rate being 150. So that's the cool thing about using the Whoop is like you can say, oh shoot, just moving just like this, super like calm, nice little stroll, right? Something like this would trigger inflammation. And then I wouldn't feel it when I'm walking. But you know when I'd feel it? The next day. Why? Because the lactic acid builds up in your bloodstream. And because our cells don't function the way that they used to, it builds up. We experience post-exertional malaise. Most people know and can relate to working out and then having like sore muscles. Well, unfortunately, we can't move enough to get it into our muscles. It literally gets locked up in our bloodstream. So, and then it produces symptoms. And the symptoms cause us to have PEM, and then the PEM causes deconditioning over time. It's like slowly but surely losing your ability to function, which there's other illnesses that are triggered by viruses that cause that same problem, known as Parkinson's, MS, you name it, Lou Gehrig's. Nobody ever really knows like the pathway or the mechanism that, they have a better idea than they do with long COVID, but the autoimmunity is always triggered by chronic inflammation. So I'm just trying to live like a patriot. George Washington and all of them, they lived in a period of time when there weren't vaccinations, when there weren't treatments, there weren't blood transfusions, there weren't IV infusions, there was nothing. But they lived to be like in their 60s and 80s. My goal is to be 80 and to drop like a bomb. boop, dead. That's what I want. I don't want to die a slow death. So that's why I'll choose to prioritize walking and wellness over alcohol, sugar, and chores. I mean, I never like to do housekeeping anyways, but, with the orthostatic hypotension, it really makes life difficult. But anyways, I'm here to just chat it up, explain that I wasn't able to walk 4 years ago, but over time, slow and steady, I was able to recover. I mean, I had the help of hyperbaric oxygen therapy treatment, some central sensitization training at Mayo, and also the support of NSU to understand where the inflammation is in my brain and to take the low-dose naltrexone. It's the sequencing of your recovery that matters. This is a complex illness. It affects different systems, and so you don't know what to target first. And I would say the number one thing is to decrease inflammation and identify the things that create inflammation, like stressful relationships, food, alcohol, obviously, all the things that we know, like smoking, anything that promotes making unhealthy cells. That is literally what we're dealing with. We have zombie cells, senescent cells, that's what they're called, and then we have healthy cells. And so there's an imbalance, and it's our responsibility to understand what triggers us to live in a chronically inflamed state. So I'm making all these videos, and I'm teaching everybody everything that I know, so that they can begin to figure out what works for them. My number one piece of advice is to get a Whoop and to measure it to manage it. You can't manage it if you don't measure it. And it doesn't apply, like the device isn't created for people with chronic illness. But if you figure out what works for you and what it looks like on your app, okay, you'll improve your energy efficiency and you'll improve your recovery and strength. Some things have a beneficial effect for everyone. It's just customizing your recovery, having the awareness that allows you to accept your limitations and then take actions that are healthy and helpful and preserve your quality of life. Again, this is longevity for the long haul, and I'm just figuring out how to post, how to share, and follow me for more content like this. I'm pretty sure everything I said was on point, but with cognitive, impairment, it's just like, sometimes I don't remember how I said something. So if I said something that confused you, drop a comment below. Ask me a question. I'm an open book. So I'm here for the long COVID community and anybody struggling with chronic illness.